Based on our Earth's geology, the Earth was first formed about 4.54 billion years ago. However, the surface of our planet looked nothing like it did today. The Earth likely consisted of mostly molten magma with an atmosphere made up of mostly hydrogen and helium. As the Earth began to cool and volcanoes pumped water vapor, ammonia, and carbon dioxide into the early atmosphere, oceans began to take shape, and eventually, primitive life could evolve. And the reducing conditions of the Earth's early atmosphere, simple organic compounds could combine to form more and more complex molecules. Eventually, the first extremophiles formed about 3.7 billion years ago. The continued evolution of these simple microorganisms then led to the first photosynthetic bacteria called cyanobacteria about 2.4 billion years ago. Indicated by the bands of oxidized iron in the Earth's crust, the photosynthetic bacteria began releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. While there was still not enough oxygen in the environment for multicellular life, cells began to live in other cells where they could share an equally beneficial relationship, acting as organelles. This was named endosymbiosis and led the rise to double membrane organelles like mitochondria and chloroplasts. Shortly following this, DNA was packaged into the nucleus for the first time, giving rise to the first eukaryotic cells. Because of the benefits that came with being a larger group, eukaryotic cells began to live in groups where they could feed more efficiently and gain protection in numbers. As cells continued to live together for long periods of time, they began to do specialized functions for the benefit of the group. Cells made things like digestive enzymes that could break down food and were even tasked with creating junctions to hold groups of cells together, eventually giving rise to the first multicellular organisms. While bacteria continued to evolve, the formation of life in the form of sea plants happened around 1.2 billion years ago. The first plants to emerge were likely simple algae that had shallow root systems. Following the formation of plants came the formation of animals about 570 million years ago. Among the earliest animals were sponges that could tolerate continued low oxygen conditions with their slow metabolisms and sedentary lifestyle. During the Cambrian explosion, multiple organisms that are extinct today, such as the trilobites and brachiopods, even came into existence. Later, around 425 million years ago, vascular land plants were able to grow a few centimeters tall and began to colonize the land where they could capture sunlight easily and release reproductive spores into the air. Just 5 million years later, animals also began to start colonizing the land. The earliest of these animals were arthropods such as centipedes, mites, and spiders. Eventually, however, occasional mass extinctions occurred at the end of the Permian era. However, these early extinctions only led to a diversification of life as old dominant species were eliminated and newly formed species were allowed to fill their new void. During the three Mesozoic eras from 250 million years ago to 65 million years ago, reptiles, most notably dinosaurs, dominated all life on land as they filled the new niches of not only the land but also the sky. However, the dominance of the dinosaurs was abruptly eliminated when the Earth was struck by an asteroid more than 10 kilometers in diameter, wiping out all the dinosaur life. As the Earth slowly recovered from this massive asteroid strike, the niche that was previously occupied by dinosaurs was now able to be filled by other dominant land animals, such as early primates, which emerged around 60 million years ago. As primates continued to evolve, humanoids began to appear in eastern Africa about 5.2 million years ago, which eventually led to the evolution of Homo sapiens 130,000 years ago. From the creation of Earth 4.5 billion years ago to the emergence of humans just 130,000 years ago, a lot has changed. Today, organisms continue to diversify, evolve, and go extinct as they have throughout history. Thanks for watching.